Hi, it's Ali from Inspiralized, and today we're in my kitchen and we're making my zucchini noodles with corn, tomatoes, and a creamy avocado lime-cilantro dressing. Now, if you've never made a creamy avocado dressing, you're in for a treat. Avocado dressings are a great way to make something creamy but light and full of nutrients. You get those healthy fats from the avocado, you get the nice citrus tang from the lime. It's absolutely delicious and it's super summer friendly. So if you live in New Jersey like I do, we have the best corn, it's the sweetest, the best tomatoes. So you'll really enjoy this recipe if you shop at the farmer's market in the summer. So this recipe serves between 3 and 4 people, but I'm today going to only spiralize enough for one person because it's just me today. So you're going to need zucchinis. You're going to need some halved cherry tomatoes, jalapeno, garlic, cilantro, freshly juiced lime always, 1 ripe avocado, and it's really important that your avocado is ripe so you get that really nice avocado taste and it's nice and creamy. And then we have chili powder to season our corn. Now that we have all of our ingredients ready, we are going to be spiralizing our zucchinis. So to prepare your zucchini, as always, we're just going to slice those ends off flatly and evenly. Okay, and we're not going to peel the zucchini because we like that nice crunch. So now that our zucchinis are prepared, I'm going to grab my Inspiralizer here, and I'm going to secure it nice to the countertop. And we're going to set it to blade D, which if you're not using the Inspiralizer, it's simply the thinnest spaghetti blade on the Spiralizer. I'm going to grab my plate here and set it beneath. I'm going to grab my first zucchini, center align it onto the Inspiralizer, and spiralize. And you could use a thicker spaghetti blade on this, but because the zucchini is raw, it's a little easier on the palate when the noodles are a bit thinner. Spiralize all the way to the end. And always remember to grab a clean kitchen shear, and after you spiralize, you want to just trim those noodles so that when you're serving them up, they're not long and jump rope-like. Okay. Okay, so now we're done with that one, and I'm going to grab my other zucchini and spiralize that one. So to serve one person, I usually recommend 1.5 zucchinis. I'm going to spiralize the full second zucchini here, but just keep that in mind as you're serving yourself and guests. Spiralizing all the way to the end. The faster you go, the easier, I always say. Okay. Oop. And then I'm just going to, again, trim the noodles, make them a little more manageable. And in the end, as we serve this, we're going to trim them a little bit more. So if you forget this step or you're in a rush, do not worry. Okay. So now I'm just going to transfer these to a bowl over here. Okay. Pour them in. Set this aside. Just clear my workspace a bit. And now we're ready to make that creamy avocado dressing. So you will need a food processor for this next step. So go ahead and grab it. So to make this creamy avocado dressing, there's a few simple ingredients. Of course, we're going to start with our ripe avocado, which I've already peeled and pitted. I'm going to add that to my processor. And now I have about 1/2 medium jalapeno that I've minced, and I've seeded it as well, so it's not too spicy, but it gets that nice jalapeno flavor. I have 1 small garlic clove minced. You know I love garlic. And then I have about 2 heaping tablespoons of minced cilantro. If you don't like cilantro, you could omit it, but I really recommend it here. It gives it a really nice earthy bite. And then I have 1 full medium lime that I pre-juiced. And then we're going to just season with salt and pepper. Okay. And then I just like to do that very lightly because at the end we can always season to taste. So all of our ingredients are in here. We're going to put on the top and process. Okay. And what I like to do is I like to open it, take a look in, and push down the sides if there's any extra cilantro or any ingredients like garlic that are still chunky and stuck to the side, and push it down. Now that looks perfect. It's nice, a light green, and it's creamy. And I have to point out that it's very important to use that ripe avocado because if you don't, you might have to add in some olive oil, some water, or something like Greek yogurt to thin it out. So we're pretty much done here. This looks great. So our next step is to toss it with our spiralized zucchini. Take this off of the stand, like that. And I'm going to use about 3/4 of this because again, I'm only making 1 serving for myself. Okay, that. And what I'll do is take some tongs and just toss these really well to combine. And it is sticky because it's a creamy sauce, so just take your time and really toss it well. And as you do this, just make sure you scrape down those sides to get all the noodles combined there. And you'll start to notice that the noodles are going to soften a little bit because there is lime juice in the dressing, so the acids in the lime will cook it just slightly. And this is a great one to bring to work lunches or save to make in the future, to have in the future, because the longer it sits in the fridge, the more soft those zucchini noodles get. And you won't get any soupiness from this creamy avocado sauce. Okay, so we are all combined here. So I'm just going to set this aside, and now we're ready for our final step, which is to cook the corn. We're ready to cook our corn, and I have a medium skillet set over medium-high heat, and we have all of our ingredients. So I have the corn, which this was 1 medium ear of corn, and I shaved the kernels off using a knife. And then we also have a 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder, and that's going to give a really nice kick that's going to complement those Mexican flavors in the dressing, the lime, the cilantro, the jalapeno. And we're going to garnish at the end with these tomatoes. So I have olive oil, and I'm going to just pour in about 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons just to lightly cook and fry those corn kernels. So once that's shimmering, we can add in the corn and season it up. Now that our oil is shimmering, I'm going to add in my corn. And again, because we're only making this for 1 today, I'm only going to add in about 1/2 of that corn. So I'm just going to give it a stir and combine with that oil, and you're going to want to hear it crack and sizzle, and that means it's cooking. And when we're cooking this corn, the key factors are to make sure that it turns bright yellow, and it's going to be fork tender at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to take my salt and pepper shakers and season. You can go a little heavier on the salt and lighter on the pepper because we do have the chili powder coming. So I'm going to add in that chili pepper, and again, only about 1/2 because this is for 1 serving. Okay. And if you don't like spice, then you could substitute in paprika or maybe even just garlic powder or something like that. But I love spice and I love chili powder. Okay. So I'm just going to stir that together. So to cook the corn, you only really need to stir it every 30 seconds or so. So I'm just going to let this stay here and cook. And while that's cooking, I'm going to plate my zucchini noodles. So I'm going to grab up some noodles here and give it a toss again to make sure, finally, that the sauce is all coating the noodles. So I'm going to grab a big bunch here, put it into my plate. Okay. There we go. And I'm going to toss these again. These are starting to sizzle really nicely. It smells delicious. It's that fresh Jersey corn. Okay. And the garnish is the corn and the tomatoes. So I'm going to add in the tomatoes while we wait a little bit. Just a nice handful. And if you wanted to take this a step further, you could actually add the tomatoes in with the corn and give it a nice infusion of that chili powder taste. But I kind of like that cold tomato taste. Gives it more of a refreshing kind of vibe. Okay. These are cooking up perfectly. We're almost ready. Okay, our corn is ready. So I'm going to just top the zucchini noodles and the tomatoes with the corn. Such a beautiful, fresh summer dish. And there you have it, my zucchini noodles with corn, tomatoes, and that creamy avocado lime cilantro dressing. Now for the best part, always, is the taste test. We get a nice twirly bite of the avocado with the tomatoes. This is so good. It's so tangy. Has so many flavors in one. What I love most about this dish is not only does it save well, but it's very versatile. So if you're a vegetarian, you can stop right here, but if you like to cook chicken on the grill, even shrimp here with some chili lime sauce, it would be so delicious. I love this recipe and I hope you make it at home. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's recipe. I hope you loved it as much as I did. And as always, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel to receive alerts when I post future cooking videos in my Everyday Inspiralized cooking series. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.